자식네 아다 때네 딱고 임베 고디터네 아니 모니 기도베 땅에 아니 동일이야 지금 내바로 직도서 니요이나 딩이 숨지도 하네 봐 수족이 다 로이 남장 아니 가서다 로이 남장 다 잡면데 나로네 이제 어찌 가다 친실로가 로 신유 사신소래 친실로 도대니니 신유 매등에 딘데기 로이 직지게 되게 직 시에도야 직체.
So once you are able to develop this understanding and appreciation of this fundamental sort of disparity between appearance and reality, and then as I mentioned before, you will be able to understand that underlying many of our strong emotions, emotional responses towards events and situations, there is an assumption of some kind of existence of an independently existing reality out there. And this will give you an insight into sort of various functions of the mind and the different types of conscious sort of levels of consciousness that exist within you, and also to understand that certain types of cognitive events or mental states or emotional states, although they may seem so real and the objects appear to them so vivid, but in reality they are mere illusions. And
자, 아니 저 지금 때네 딱봐 임버 디 코에 때네 딱봐 임버 준세도 제디 정신기 땅에 코아지 내용야지 윤두 땅반이 있어야 돼 중생이 되네. 땅반이 임버디 중생이 되네.
So you to carry on with the translation of an earlier statement. So if you are able to develop this understanding that within your own mental states and emotional states, there are certain states which may seem very real and which may seem to be relating to objects which seem so real and vivid to you, but in reality these are states of illusions, that what the objects that they relate to do not really exist. So through that way we will be able to gain an insight into what in technical Buddhist language is called the origin of suffering. These afflictive emotional experiences or emotional states that lead to confusion, misapprehension, and then which afflicts the mind. And when this is combined with the understanding of this interdependent nature of reality at the most subtlest level, then we will also gain insight into what in technical Buddhist language is called the empty nature of reality, the emptiness of all things and events, how each and every object and events lack an intrinsic or independent reality, that they come into being only purely as a result of aggregation of many factors, that they do not possess existence or identity that is independent or autonomous. So once you gain insight into that emptiness, then of course you will be also able to understand that any apprehensions that conceive reality in the contrary way, that things exist intrinsically, that things exist independently, then you will know that these apprehensions are misapprehensions. These are misconceptions pertaining to the nature of reality. And then you will also realize that they have no valid grounding either in reality nor in your own valid experiences. Whereas the empty nature of reality has a valid grounding both in reason and also in your own experience. Through that way, you will be able to understand, appreciate the possibility of arriving at a state of knowledge where you can conceive the possibility of eliminating that misapprehension completely, and that is the state of cessation. So the point is that by developing a deep profound understanding of the principle of dependent origination, you can understand both the truth about the origin of suffering, and also subtle suffering, subtle origins of the suffering, and also the truth of cessation. So this is the meaning of the statement that by understanding or by seeing independent origination, you see the Dharma. So through this way, you can see the truth of the cessation and the path that leads to that cessation. So once through this understanding, so once you understand the truth about the path and also the cessation that the path lead to, then of course then you will be able to conceive the possibility of Sangha members who would have realized and actualized these states, and also Buddhas who would have perfected in these states and these experiences. So this is to sum up, this is the meaning of the Buddha's statement, that by understanding the principles of dependent origination in causal terms, in terms of causal dependence, you understand the law of the karma, the causal principles that operates fundamentally in reality, and also by complementing that understanding of causal principle with understanding of dependent origination at a much subtler level, then you understand the nature of Dharma, in terms of cessation and the paths that lead to the cessation. And once you have gained understanding of cessation and the path, then you also gain an understanding of what Tathagata means or what the Buddha means.
So today in this ane denshi namsha shebala denig namsha chamu shebala denig namsha shebala shi.
So therefore I feel that in order to develop a profound understanding or comprehensive understanding of the Four Noble Truths, I think it is necessary to have understanding of the two truths.
다takbe siksedan loriya ani tongpa thana tenjung thegres tenjung thana gyuda gengi didu gyuda genla tene didu yoya di thegres di thana dumne da thegres kunju da thegres ani dogun yona da thegi de shadi gongba jangni ani kunju da ba ji yona ani 디사야지 그래서 디사야다 연구를 서로 딱 간다지 도경기 남샤 데이터네 아니 고람디에 아니 태그리스 고람 타나 긴두구조 태그리스 긴두구조 타나 아니 산제구조 태그리스 어떤 고람 타나 최구조 태그리스 최구조 타나 긴두구조 태그리스 긴두구조 타나 산제구조 태그리스 이 자실을 잡아도 측세 나로 뜻송도
therefore Chandrakirti says in his Prashnapada clear words. He states that if one can appreciate the principle of emptiness, the doctrine of emptiness, if one can posit emptiness, then one can posit the interdependent world, the world of interdependent origination. If one can posit that, then one can posit the causality, the causal relationship between suffering and its origin. And once one can accept the causal relationship between the suffering and its origin, then one can also conceive and accept the possibility of its cessation. If one can do that, then one can also accept the possibility of individuals, Sangha members who have realized and actualized these states. If one can do that, then of course one can also conceive Buddhas who have perfected these states of cessation.
나와 땡중 때문에 구조된 것이. 아니 때는 좀 니 준세도 쳐야 돼. 아니 러시 동거 쳐야 돼. 전달돼 봤지. 담반이 뜻이 나가서 주셔. 대단해 아니 담바시 남샤체 담바시 남샤가 타네 아니 가서 촉숨 군조숨도 되지.
So this is how one can appreciate the Buddhist, fundamental Buddhist doctrines of the true truths. It is from the understanding of our phenomenal world of experience and everyday world of lived world of experience that one can appreciate what is known as the world of samvriti satya, the world of conventional reality, where causal principle operates. Once you can accept that, then you can also accept the fundamental underlying reality, the empty nature of that world, which, according to Buddhism, is the ultimate truth, the paramartha satya. And here we can see a kind of a relationship between the two aspects of reality, because the world of appearance is used not so much as a contrast or an oppositional world to the world of ultimate truth, but rather it is used as the very evidence or the very basis, grounds on which the ultimate nature of reality is accepted. Once you can understand the relationship and the nature of these two truths, the world of conventional reality and the ultimate truth, then one is in a good position to fully understand the meaning of the Four Noble Truths taught in the scriptures. Once you can understand the Four Noble Truths, then you have laid a profound foundation to develop a good understanding of what is meant by taking refuge in the Three Jewels. So when I speak about two truths, you must keep in mind that I'm speaking from the perspectives of the Madhyamaka school, the middle way school of Buddhism. Of course, the very term two truths is used is not something that is confined to this school alone. You can find the concept of two truths in other Buddhist schools of thought, such as Vaibhashika, Swatrantika, and Chittamatra as well. And also we can find this concept of true truths in non-Buddhist philosophical schools as well.
다 담바시도 그래서나 담바시 시대에 담바시 영향을 가려서나 나란도 동네 민들보다 대원 되버지 로현지를 예버체 로현지를 예버디 중전에 버체 동네에서 해야지 민들벌이 동네에서 해야지 매번 쏘고요 쏘야고 도다요 대화서 해야지 누구요 뒤두야 도다요 저자가 중전된데 다 대베 대화다 민들벌 동네에서 해야지 니여베 이두산에
Now the question is, why Four Noble Truths? Why do they exist? And why did the Buddha teach the Four Noble Truths? And now here we must relate that to our own experience as an individual human being. It is a fact, it's a natural fact of existence that we all as individuals possess this innate desire to seek happiness and to seek to overcome suffering, and that is a fact of our natural sort of existence, and this is something that is very instinctual and innate, and it does not need any validation or justifications for its existence. Just as it is a natural sort of instinctual kind of desire, so do each of us have the right to fulfill that aspiration. Of course, suffering is something everybody wishes to avoid, and we also have the right to try to overcome that suffering. Happiness is something that we all aspire to achieve, and of course we have a right to fulfill that aspiration to attain happiness.
대양 민들베 동네 당 대베 대원이자로 되기 쉬운 지체는 그 유진삼을 때는 영원 인도산에 민들베 동네디 그 주신 대왕의 용기에 인도산에 아니 군의 유문초하고 윤재인이 동네다바도 군주된 바소